Is Joe ready?
How are you?
Joe's ready. Joe's always ready. Call to order the meeting for November 21st, 2017. Could everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, can I get a roll call, please?
Larry Armstrong.
Here.
Sean Douglas.
Here.
Michael Howery.
Here.
Michelle Hayes.
Here.
Gene Sensi.
Here.
Approval of the agenda, please.
I'll move.
Second?
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Sean Douglas.
Yes.
Michael Howery.
Yes.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Gene Sensi.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
Okay, approval of the minutes for the special meeting that was held October 6, 2017.
I'll move. I'll second.
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Sean Douglas.
Yes.
Michael Howery.
Yes.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Gene Sensi.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
Okay, and approval of the minutes from October 9th of 2017, please.
I'll move.
Second?
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Michael Howery.
Yes.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Gene Sensi.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Sean Douglas.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
And the meeting minutes from October 10th of 2017.
I'll move. I'll second.
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Gene Sensi.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Sean Douglas.
Yes.
Michael Howery.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
And the meeting minutes from October 17th of 2017, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? And roll call.
Gene Sensi.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Sean Douglas.
Yes.
Michael Howery.
Yes.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
Okay. For those of you that just walked in, if you're a student, make sure you get your agenda signed at the end by anyone at the table. And then also, just so you're aware, we get all of this emailed to us ahead of time. So we've already read what's in the meeting minutes, and that's why we're just approving them. We're on to board member reports.
I attended the Capitol Conference in Columbus with most of the board. Learned a lot, had some good camaraderie with the other board members, and especially I think one of the certainly clean streaks was a nice presentation. Mike's presentation with the technology program was great. So some of our own programming was good, but one of the things that I learned when I went to the conference that was sort of new or interesting was the social media presentation, which I think was very good. It was from one of the districts that actually has a outreach specialist or public information person, I don't know what the title was, someone that focuses on that. And so I learned a few things that I think could be helpful to the district about how to, specifically on Facebook and some of the other platforms like Instagram, to make posts that generate more interest. And so when we have a specific event, like we just had when we had the presentations a couple weeks ago, or something that we're trying to advocate with the community, how to boost those posts or to make them more interesting to folks and get more bang for the buck if it's actually paid for, but most of the time it's not. So thought those were very good.
I wish I had started on that one. I didn't even see that one. I wonder if they have the slides
They
on
do.
the internet.
It was on the app, so it's still available. I actually forwarded it to my email so I can provide it to the other board members and the administration if anyone's interested.
I would
That
be
would be
very
awesome.
interested, yes.
I'm very interested.
Thank you. Okay, any other board member reports?
Well,
Well, since Clean Streaks was a big part of our church, I want to thank the superintendent for the excellent job that you did of putting the shell together. Everybody was well prepared and well equipped, and I thought everybody did a great job, and you had a fantastic and powerful close. So I think we communicated a key message that the schools and the community can work together in a very positive way. So thank you.
Great. As long as we're talking about Capital Conference, I want to let everybody know that Michelle is going to write something that I can send to Jerry Rampelt, so she will be in the next edition of the Levy book. Because he loves the story about her Good News page and how that generated and turned things around for us.
Well, it did, but I've been kind of slacking on that page lately, which is why I need to look at these slides that Sean's going to forward to me.
You want to let students hear that you've been slacking?
Well, and I'm going to turn that around.
There's always time. Because she's a student herself.
That's right.
You're not slacking. You're in school.
Your
and
future
learning.
starts today.
So one of the interesting parts was that you should have your page certified by Facebook so that you get the little check mark that is actually on the page that recognizes you, because there's so many sub-pages, especially in a school district where you have multiple buildings and then you have many, many different clubs and groups as part of so many things, that you can actually get it certified.
Cool.
Through a process where they have to call the school district and, automated to some extent, but you can actually get a little check mark. So if you're on Instagram and you follow a celebrity, you'll notice there's a little check mark next to their name, and that verifies that that's actually the celebrity's page. Well, Facebook has a similar process where they will verify that is a page associated with the school district.
Oh,
So that was tip 1 of 10 on the presentation.
all right. Well, thank you. Yes, definitely forward that to me because I'm very interested in that. And then if anyone else is interested in also possibly, picking up and helping out with that page a little bit, I would be happy to have any of you assist with that. I just want to say thank you to the community for having the opportunity to go to Capital Conference. I enjoy it. This is my 8th year. I always have a great time. Not only is the networking and the team building just something that's really wonderful for us. I feel like I get refreshed while I'm there. I feel like it reminds me why I got started in doing this to begin with. I come back energized and ready to jump into new things, and so I'm very appreciative, and thank you very much, and thank you to my fellow board members and staff for attending with me. So, any other reports? And we're on to our first public participation of the evening. This is going to be for agenda items only. At the end of the meeting, we will have another public participation that will be for any items. Any member of the public like to speak at this time? Okay. Moving on to reports and recommendations of the treasurer.
Thank you. I have a few things to discuss prior to getting to the items on the agenda. The first was a technology update. Okay, so the first thing is dealing with technology. I've talked before about Madison doing shared services with, in the technology field, and how we are now getting the recognition for those services. The third book in the series that we've been mentioned is coming out, and the other companies that are being mentioned at the same time are the USDA, the University of Michigan, IBM, Case Western Reserve, and Madison Local Schools. So that's the kind of company we're keeping in this book. And it talks directly about the types of services and what we're doing. And our tech director, Bob Cerruti, has mentioned and has had some input into the content of that book. So I'm going to segue and have Bob give you guys an update of what his tech department has done since the beginning of the year. He's got 5 minutes and the clock starts running now.
Not checking my Twitter feed, I have my notes on here. So we just came back from our OSBA. As many of you know, we had a successful presentation, a lot of interest in what we're doing, both from what we're specifically doing and how other districts could replicate it. The first question I got every time was, how close are you to where we are? Some close, some not as close. We also at OSBA, we spoke to the Madison Fire Chief. Apparently they are going through some technology challenges in the department there, and we offered some advice, and they asked a bit about how we would, if there was any chance that we could work with them. And so we've offered advice, and if they're interested in working with us, they have some struggles with their provider now. We've checked, and we are able to work with the fire department since it is a political entity, a taxing political entity, I think is how Mike put it. So that's just a short wrap on our what we did at OSBA. Here, we continue to grow technology. We expanded the wireless into our new buildings, which kind of sounds odd. We updated the wireless last year, if you remember. With E-rate, I think we ended up with about $80,000 rebate in federal funds for that project. Those were in our two old buildings. The two new buildings this year, we took those access points that were in those buildings and put them into the new buildings to expand the wireless access there. We continue that even today as we identify locations that aren't served as well by the wireless. I think Tony, our network engineer, just installed a few access points in the last couple of days for areas. And that comes from our expansion of Chromebooks into all of the buildings. And the middle school particularly has a higher ratio than our other buildings for a few reasons, but we've expanded the wireless in those buildings. And that's really at no cost to the district. With a network engineer on staff, we don't hire anybody to configure, install, or we've been doing some data shaping recently, and that just means that we've got lots of kids on Chromebooks, and they're accessing a lot of video, audio, websites. And instead of us investing in more bandwidth for the district, we are doing what we can to maintain the quality of service for the educational purposes, while maybe we're not really stopping anything, but an example is that we've taken YouTube, where everybody would like to download high definition video. We don't really need high definition video for learning, so we have put a limitation on how much data a YouTube client can use. Still, they still get standard internet definition, but that allows us to free up some bandwidth so that we're no longer topping out on our purchase service from LGCA. And that saves us, as long as we can do that, that saves us about $13,000 a year from going to the next step up from 200 meg to 500 meg. Eventually, we will have to move up as we add more devices, but for the time being, every month we save $1,000 in not having that. So we're also doing phone expansion here. The new buildings and this building have a ShoreTel phone system. It is a very nice phone system, and we have found a vendor that we've worked with other districts that really it was a no-brainer, and the money we will save in phone lines that we can cancel to utilize the prime or PRI lines that we have already at the middle school. They're underutilized, so we will be able to utilize them to a higher extent with an expansion of the phone service. I don't recall, 9 months to pay back on that expansion. It gives us a lot more security features. It gives us more opportunity to expand phones into locations we don't have them now, and it allows us to not work with some of the local providers of phone service that have been a thorn in our side. It will also, there are also a number of safety features and security features that we have not been utilizing that we will roll in once we have it installed and trained on our new, for the staff that's getting it new. And those include items like 911 calls that will route to the room as opposed to a building. It allows for certain staff, as determined by administration, to be notified of a 911 call from their building, and they can join that call right from their handset. It'll automatically ring their handset so they can pick it up and be part of that call, so that somebody can meet first responders at the door. It will have the ability to pre-program phones to alert for different emergencies. So that's what we're doing with with the phone system expansion. Just a little quick thing so you know what we're doing here. Last year, our first full school year here from August 1st to July 31st of 17, August 1st of 16 to July 31st, we did 2,748 IT requests were completed for all of our districts. Of those, 1,229 were in Madison. This year, to date, from August 1st, which is roughly when we start our school year, meaning the technology department, we've done 697 requests. Those are complete in Madison and 1,395 for all of our districts. So Madison is still seeing roughly half of the work that we do. And it's the biggest district that we support, so that's not out of line. And even though we have not yet made it to a one-to-one place, we have more devices than the rest of our districts, individual districts. So then a quick rundown of where we are with our other districts that help us do this, because as Mike has said, we can't have this kind of support for technology without those districts. So some of the things we're doing there is Berkshire has now gone one-to-one from first grade through 12th grade, with the exception of one grade. We accelerated their plan of 5 years to 4 years to give us, to get them one-to-one from first to 12th grade. Newberry is in their second year of one-to-one with Chromebooks from 3 through 12th. Fairport this year jumped on the one-to-one train. They are K through 12 one-to-one. And Geneva, who we don't do their support from the classroom up, but we just do their high-level stuff. Tony, as I said, our network engineer, has done a great deal of work in their network in order to allow them to do testing in all their buildings at once. That's something we're going to take advantage of this year. We'll be able to test in all of our buildings. We'll be able to test more students at once than we've ever been able to before. And I think we'll be able to do it without much problem. So that's my update.
Okay, on to the items for the agenda. The first is to approve the financial reports for all funds, the fund-to-fund transfer report, and the check payment register for October 2017.
I'll move.
Second?
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Larry Armstrong?
Yes.
Sean Douglas?
Yes.
Michael Howery?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes?
Yes.
Gene Sensi?
Yes.
Vote is 5-0. And the second item is to accept a generous donation of a $25 gift card from Madison Walmart to Madison High School Key Club to be used for 2017 rake and run supplies, a donation of 120 lawn and leaf bags from Sam Britton to Madison High School Key Club to be used for Madison Village rake and run event, donation of 3 cases of water from Madison Giant Eagle to Madison High School Key Club to be used for Madison Village rake and run event, donation of $700 from French Chiropractic and Wellness Center to Madison School District to be used for drug education programs, donation of baking supplies from various Madison High School students, parents, and staff to be used for Madison Public Library baking event, donation of a live holiday wreath from the Madison Garden Club to be displayed at the pre-K board office building, and a donation of $360 from Kiwanis Club of Madison to Madison High School Key Club to be used for various Key Club activities.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Questions or comments?
Thank you for all those nice donations. That's a lot of,
Wow, that's a lot.
stuff. Angela, you attended the meeting about the drug education down in Columbus?
Yes, that's going to be part of my report.
sorry,
So we'll
because
talk about that here in a minute.
The French chiropractic,
Yeah.
that's $700.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's nice.
So I have some ideas that I want to pursue with that.
And I just want to echo Larry and say thank you very much for the generous donations. I'm just thrilled that each and every meeting we have, there's always a list of donations from the community, so thank you. Okay, roll call?
Sean Douglas?
Yes.
Michael Howery?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes?
Yes.
Gene Sensi? Yes. Larry Armstrong?
Yes.
Vote is 5-0. And that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Okay, report to the administrative team.
Well, I've got 3 items, and I think I'll end with the video, Joe, so if you want to make sure, because 2 are kind of serious and heavy, and I think Reggie Dabbs will be a good way to lighten it up. The first is the Madison Township Administrator, Tim Brown, came to me last week, it was at the end of last week, and talked about there's a petition going around for the power plant. The county commissioners are going down to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission meeting next Tuesday, and they want to take these petitions down saying that the power plant is a viable and important thing to our area. You do not have to live in Lake County to sign the petition. There's no address. I have petitions, if at the end of the meeting you want to take them and circulate them around your family Thanksgiving table and get them back to me on Monday, I will make sure that they get to the township administrator, and he'll get them to the Lake County Commissioners to take when they go down on Tuesday. I know it's short notice, but I just got them. We signed them at our superintendent's meeting last week, and I have one here, so after the meeting, if you want to sign, I have those, plus blank petitions. I do want to talk about the session I went to in Columbus. Besides the sessions presented by our team, I attended a session sponsored by the Attorney General's office on the opioid crisis. And it was probably the most enlightening session. I've learned more and more, unfortunately, about this. You know, we had the man from CVS in last year, and we're trying to schedule him to come in and speak to our students. And then what I heard down in Columbus. And one of the speakers recommended this book, and I decided I needed to read it. And I went right on and ordered it from Amazon, I think, during the session so that it would be home in time. And it's called Dreamland, and it really highlights how this is different than for those of us that remember the heroin crisis of the 70s and crack cocaine that came into the 90s. They really, part of what's going on in this crisis is it's become a business model. The people that are bringing the drugs into our country, it's a business model. They're using delivery methods, much like you see with pizza delivery services. They come into, Ohio is part of the biggest part of the problem because there is a bus that goes from El Paso, Texas, nonstop to Dayton. And then Dayton goes to all sorts of places in the state of Ohio, into Kentucky, into West Virginia, all of those areas. So that's why this crisis is sort of, you know, matriculated to epidemic proportions in our state. And it's weekly anymore that we are getting something, whether we're hearing about a parent that has OD'd and died, or family members of students, or kids coming in that have had addicted parents. I mean, it's daily, or weekly anymore. And I asked Officer Caswell yesterday and Mr. Whaley, the assistant principal, that to start putting the thinking caps together, because I think we need to have a community summit of some sort and pull people in from the various agencies and bring kids in to really understand the depths of what this is all about. I am going to use this as a book reading for the administrative team. If any of the board members would like to read this as well, I will have Susan make that order. It is, you know, it's not light reading, but it's written in such a way that it's very understandable. It's not scientific, it's a narrative, so each chapter is a different piece of this puzzle. And you know, as I told you, I think one of the things I am most committed to at this point in my career is wanting to make a difference. And what they said in that presentation is, you don't have to do something big, do something small, and you're making a difference. And I think as a community, we need to do that. So that is something that I hope we'd spend some time on during the January retreat. I'm very passionate about this. It was, like I said, there's almost every day I'm hearing about this person or that person.
Well, and sadly, I mean, we all know that it has hit our community.
Yes.
And sadly, we just recently lost another Madison alumni. So, yeah.
We had somebody lose a parent in the last week too. So it is detrimental. And another thing they said during that presentation is it's the prevention. So we really have to look at what we're doing in the schools in terms of prevention, education, bringing the safety committee together again and discussing some of that. It's a daunting task, but like I said, if we do something to make a difference, it's important.
Well, and one of the keynote speakers that I went to go listen to, and Larry was in there apparently as well, and I ended up having to listen to 45 minutes of Governor Kasich before I got to listen to the speaker. And he is very big on the prevention as well. And whether you like him or don't like him, he's a very good speaker. He really is. And I certainly agreed with many things that he said. And one of those things, and I'm going to say this, and it's on a taped meeting, but one of the things that he said to a room full of administrators and board members is what today's youth is missing is God. And that was exactly what he said to all of us. And I don't disagree with that.
We definitely need connections and strong connections.
Yeah.
And you're right. And part of it is, there are many moving parts in this crisis. There is the 1996 was the turning point with the promotion of OxyContin and the way we promote drugs in this country, because we are one of the only industrialized countries that promote drugs the way we do, whether it's on TV or how they go to the doctor's offices and promote the usage of those. And there are doctors that started pill mills, and then you had the black tar heroin coming in from Mexico. And now the third piece of this rail is the fentanyl and the carfentanil, which is the animal tranquilizers, and that's what's killing people. And so it is awareness, prevention, and providing tools. And the woman said they're human lives, and that's absolutely it. And there's not a person, I think, in this room that probably hasn't some connection to somebody that they know, whether distantly or not, connected to this crisis. So,
Angela, the Lake County Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board is offering a program now
They
for
are.
employers.
I was going to say that.
Remember the name, it's Project, and it starts with an R. And I just signed 200 Job and Family Services employees up for it this week,
okay.
where they come for free, no charge, and it's a 1-hour presentation specifically about the opioid crisis. So that would be good for our staff.
January 8th, I have that service. Maybe
They
I'll
may
see
be
you.
able to modify that for the community as well, so it's just not for staff members, but that's a specific program that they're offering for free to the community. So,
Can you send me the information?
absolutely.
Awesome.
Now, you may know the answer to this. There's something circulating about Lake Hospital System. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Where they're saying that you can, if you are addicted and you need help, you can come to Lake Hospital System. They have X amount of beds set aside, and that there's no cost to you.
That's interesting. I don't know where Lake Health would provide those services directly. Those
Well,
would
they
need to
said
be-
that it's Lake West, and it's in conjunction with Laurelwood.
Okay.
Um,
Gene, where would that be?
I don't know.
I don't know where they would provide those services through
I
Lake.
don't either.
Lake Health isn't going to provide them. Lake Health is going to screen them for Laurelwood, and then Laurelwood's going to send them somewhere, maybe Laurelwood, but it seems unlikely it's Laurelwood.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard that.
Okay.
All right.
We do have local resources available, and we might as well use them, especially when they're
Absolutely.
free.
How long have they been doing
Absolutely.
that?
Trying to look at that name.
That's a new program that I mentioned, that they just started and advertised to the community.
Good.
So
I just got
I'm
an email
excited
this
to-
week.
And that's the Lake County Opioid Task Force that's
Yep.
coordinating that.
I think that's important, and I do want to follow up on that. Okay, so now that I've kind of, been a Debbie Downer, I do want to end on a high note, because I'm sure some of you have not had the opportunity to see the Reggie Dabbs video, and back at the beginning of the month, we brought Reggie Dabbs in, and he spoke to every school in the district and did a parent night that we had almost, I think, between 400 and 500 people at. And while we can't play significant portions of his speech, we can, Joe did a wonderful job following him around and catching snippets all day long. So I kind of wanted to, you know,
Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Okay, now my name's Reggie. I just got you out of class, so clap for Reggie because he got you out of class. Yeah. speech is for the good kid, the bad kid, the gay kid, the straight kid, the in kid, the out kid, the up kid, the down kid. Hey, do you have to know somebody's name to care about them? No. Do you have to know where they're from to love them? No. It's a word, it's called empathy. Everybody say empathy. Forget that, let me give you the definition. To care about how other people are living, to care what other people feel, to make sure everyone smiles and they don't cry. That's empathy. And it's something you choose to put in your life. Thank you. Thank you for letting me love you. My name's Reggie. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Okay, that was very good, Joe. You did a great job putting that together.
For me, I have to say
It
that.
gave me goosebumps, and I see tears in the audience.
Best day, 31 years in this business, in schools. I can't discount passing the levy, that was a high. This for me professionally, to be able to share that with the students and the staff all day long, I didn't miss one. And that was just pretty powerful. And I think the kids there that saw 'em would agree that it was probably a pretty powerful performance. So, I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
All right. Do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay. Then we are going to move right into the recommendations. All right.
Yep.
The first is the personnel motion, and it's quite a few things under here tonight. The first is we are looking for approval for the following resignations. The retirement resignation of Christine Gurton, Madison Middle School Secretary, effective March 1st, 2018, after 28 years of service. To accept the resignation of Rhonda Johnston, Educational Assistant, Special Needs at Madison Pre-K, effective November 6, 2017. And to accept the resignation of Christopher Dodd, Madison Middle School Technology Teacher, effective December 22nd, 2017. We're asking for the following unpaid leave requests. To approve the unpaid leave request of Amber Selfbar, Madison Middle School Intervention Specialist for the period January 23rd, 2018 through March 2nd, 2018. To approve the unpaid leave request of Katie Goldberg, Madison Middle School Social Studies Teacher for the period January 22nd, 2018 through January 26th, 2018. To approve the following to approve the unpaid leave request of Christina Hickman, Madison High School Science Teacher for the period of March 14, 2018 through March 23, 2018. We're asking you to approve the following employment contracts. To approve Marilyn Crane under a long-term substitute contract from November 27, 2017 through March 2, 2018 to perform the duties of Amber Selfbar. To employ Charlotte Rieger under a long-term substitute contract from October 24, 2017 through January 26, 2018 to perform the duties of Katie Goldberg. To employ Pam Grinstead under a long-term substitute contract from October 19, 2017 through November 8, 2017 to perform the duties of Tracy Weston. To employ Mashonda Hissam under a long-term substitute teacher contract from November 8, 2017 through December 26, 2017 to perform the duties of Chris Dodd. To approve each of the following substitutes as approved by the Lake County Educational Service Center and/or the Madison Local School District's Assistant Superintendent under a one-year substitute license, starting with Gary Brown and ending with Karen Weaver. To the following each as a casual day-to-day substitute at the board-approved rate of compensation for this school year, beginning with Donna Ritchie and ending with Amanda Richardson. to employ Karen Alley under a 1-year limited contract as an educational assistant playground at South Elementary for the 2017-18 school year, effective October 30th, 2017, for 2 hours per day. The following certificated personnel under a 1-year limited supplemental contract for the 2017-18 contract year, and that Shane Hamilton is MMS Student Council Co-Advisor. To approve a change in placement on the teacher's salary schedule, Joni Niles from BA to BA plus 15. The Board of Education, we're asking for approval of the following transfers: to approve April Moore from a 6.5-hour per day position as an educational assistant at Madison Pre-K to a 2-hour per day educational assistant playground position at South Elementary, effective November 6, 2017. To transfer Cherry Barnicoat from a 3.5-hour per day educational assistant cafeteria at Madison Middle School to a 6.5-hour special needs assistant at Madison Middle School, effective November 13, 2013. To transfer Heather Moran from a 2-hour per day playground assistant at North Elementary School to a pre-K educational assistant special needs at Madison pre-K for 6 hours per day, 4 days per week, effective November 20th, 2017. And to amend the supplemental contract for Alexa Collins, MMS Student Council Advisor, to Student Council Co-Advisor, so that she splits the supplemental. And that's the personnel motion.
I'll move.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Michael Howery.
Yes.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Jean Sensi.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
John Douglas.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
Okay. The second item under my recommendations is to accept the bus bids from Myers Equipment Corporation for a school bus body and chassis for their cooperative purchase bid under the board's participation in the Ohio Schools Council program, and to authorize and direct the superintendent or designee to purchase one 78-passenger conventional style school bus from Myers Equipment Corporation at a total cost not to exceed $77,576.
So moved.
I'll second.
Questions or comments?
Would we have bought this bus without the EPA grant?
Yes. Yeah, we need to stay on a replacement cycle. The EPA grant just
Absolutely.
made it easier to afford one.
Great.
We have finally, I think, this will be our 11th edition, I think, in the last 3 years to the fleet. And we no longer will have the Partridge Family buses that we have affectionately called them. I think Mike gave them that nickname, and every time I
Many
see
shades
it,
of yellow
Yes.
on one bus.
Yeah. You know, I sleep better at night with better buses on the road.
What is the lifespan of a school bus?
It's supposed to be 12 to 15 years.
We've gotten 20 out of some of them.
And it depends on the route, the care, which our mechanics are great at keeping these things on the road, and you know how severe the winters are. The worse the winters, the more salt, the more rust they get.
I used to ride on some of the ones we had when I was on the board, and, you know.
It explains it. It explains it.
All right, roll call?
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Jean Sensi.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
John Douglas.
Yes.
Michael Howery.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
All right, the next item is a resolution declaring American Education Week, November 13th through the 17th. It's a standard motion to say thank you to all the different organizations in our schools, from the administrators to the nurses to the teachers to the classified staff, all the people that help make schools run the way they do.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Jean Sensi.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
John Douglas.
Yes.
Michael Howery.
Yes.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
The next item, and I included this in the update, is a resolution in support of Ohio Senate Bill 216. It's the deregulation bill, so to speak. And the resolution isn't really promoting any one aspect of the bill. It's just saying, you know, we need to look at education and give back local control to the districts. And I can read the whole resolution if you want me to.
So moved.
Second. I think that was your answer.
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Larry Armstrong?
Yes.
Sean Douglas?
Yes.
Michael Howery?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes?
Yes.
Gene Sensi?
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
Thank you, and you were not the only board having adopted this resolution. Several others, especially amongst the group that I'm going down and testifying with, have approved this resolution. So the next time we go down and testify, we will be bringing the resolutions with us. Next items are the board policy update, and this is the second reading on board policies, beginning with College Credit Plus program, gifted education identification, employment of substitute educational aides, attendance, disposition of real property, personal property, bus driver certification, and business advisory council. And by approving these tonight, these would then become official policy.
So moved.
I'll second.
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Sean Douglas?
Yes.
Michael Howery?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes?
Yes.
Gene Sensi?
Yes.
Larry Armstrong?
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
And then the second is a first reading of two policies, beginning with property inventory and electronic mail. And she forgot to put a vote in for a motion.
I'll write that.
Okay.
Quick explanation, the movement from, on the property inventory.
We don't
from-
need a vote.
Oh,
So this is for first reading.
Yeah.
From moving from 500 to 5,000, it aligns our capitalization policy with those of the federal programs that we deal with and the USDA grants. And the second is on the electronic mail. Moving it from 30 days to 2 years. 30 days is too short to retain a record that might document the duties of a public official. 2 years is a more reasonable and standard time.
Okay. We still need a motion?
I think we've done it, you know, that we've accepted the first reading in the past. It doesn't become policy until the second reading. It's up.
That's fine. We'll just make sure the record reflects that we discussed it as a
Okay.
first reading.
All right. And then the consent calendar. We have several items on the consent calendar tonight, and one is to approve a contract between the Madison Local School District and Geneva Area School District for open enrollment charge of excess costs for educational purposes of children with disabilities, if applicable. To approve the programs listed below on file is the board office for credit under the educational options of independent study, and to approve the participation of the Madison High School middle school students under that respective approved program, effective the 2017-18 school year. And then to approve the programs listed below as found on file in the board office for an independent study that took place during the 2016-17 school year, but we want to make sure we can award the credit to the transcript, the National Youth Leadership Forum.
So moved.
Second?
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Sean Douglas?
Yes.
Michael Howery?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes?
Yes.
Gene Sensi?
Yes.
Larry Armstrong?
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
Okay, we're on to our second and final public participation of the evening. If any member of the audience would like to stand, please state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes to approach the board on any subject. Going once? Going twice? All right. No need for public participation, and there is no need for executive session, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Michael Howery?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes?
Yes.
Gene Sensi?
Yes.
Larry Armstrong?
Yes.
Sean Douglas?
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.